Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today. Chapter 171. It was merely suppressed by the human alliance. Not only the ancient gods but also those high-level powerhouses of the human alliance. They were deliberately, and sometimes unintentionally, spreading their own evolutionary paths. The vast array of evolutionary paths collected by the Cosmic Human Alliance could not possibly be achieved solely through forced uploads by the evolvers. It had to be voluntary. Lin Yuan had once asked his senior brother, that is, the Chikuan Star Lord's eldest disciple, the strongest among the 13 disciples. The senior brother told Lin Yuan he said spreading one's own evolutionary path related to the ultimate leap. Of course, the ultimate leap was too far away for the senior brother. Even the Chikuan Star Lord was far from that level. To truly reach that step, one had only hope by creating an evolutionary path that fully suited oneself. Currently speaking, whether it was the senior brother, the second brother, or the third brother, they were all following the evolutionary paths of their predecessors. Since most of the superpower houses in the main world are spreading their own evolutionary paths, then that surely means this method is undoubtedly correct. In the main world, within the human alliance, thousands of evolutionary paths emerge concurrently. The martial path evolutionary path created by Lin Yuan needs to go through heavy competition before it can attract some evolvers. It's just in other worlds. The difficulty of Lin Yuan spreading his own evolutionary path is naturally not high. After all, with invincible strength, why fear others won't cultivate? However, spreading an evolutionary path, that is, a cultivation system, is a very time-consuming affair. Lin Yuan possessed against heaven's understanding, and from a high perspective, he could reach the peak in just a few decades. But what about other people? They might need several generations or even dozens of generations to achieve something. To prevent the martial path evolutionary path from mysteriously dying out during its spread, Lin Yuan had to cultivate a protector to take over after his departure from this world and ensure the vigorous development of the martial path. This protector's lifespan must be exceptionally lengthy, as passing it down generation by generation could easily lead to issues. And most importantly, he must be absolutely loyal to Lin Yuan, no matter if thousands or tens of thousands of years pass, still able to execute Lin Yuan's commands perfectly. The protector chosen by Lin Yuan was none other than Situ Ming. Situ Ming himself was a 5-colored lotus with a long lifespan, easily living thousands to tens of thousands of years. Plus, with both his primordial spirit and physical body coming from Lin Yuan, he was absolutely loyal. Even after Lin Yuan's time limit arrived, he could still replace Lin Yuan and ensure the martial path could be passed down for a long time. When Lin Yuan initially saved Situ Ming, he spared no effort using a 5-colored lotus as well as many other resources and time, ultimately even a drop of his vital blood. It was all in consideration of this day. Several months later, Situ Ming returned to the underground palace. Master! Situ Ming knelt before Lin Yuan with unmatched fervor. Nuan Shu, Moyang Demon Lord, and others also stood by respectfully. Tianjian Mountain had been flattened by a certain existence's foot, and this news had spread across the 5 domains like a hurricane. After all, many ordinary people lived around Tianjian Mountain, and even cultivators of the 4th and 5th realms. Under the step of the Taiyin primordial spirit, all the powerhouses on Tianjian Mountain were utterly annihilated. But outside of Tianjian Mountain, there were still many who witnessed this scene. All sorts of rumors arose in no time. They said Tianjian sect had offended the gods. Thus the punishment was brought down, and so on. Just people outside had all sorts of speculations. In fact, the demonic Tao had various guesses too. But all speculations vanished after Situ Ming returned. Because Situ Ming told them it was the master's doing. From today onwards, all cultivators of the demonic Tao will also cultivate this method. Moreover, use all means possible to spread this cultivation method throughout the 5 domains mainland. Lin Yuan said indifferently. Before him, a stack of books was laid out. It recorded the martial path evolutionary path he had organized recently. Lin Yuan, while maintaining its core unchanged, had substantially modified it to integrate it as much as possible into this world. Yes. Nuan Shu and Moyang Demon Lord immediately agreed. North. After sending everyone away, Lin Yuan still sat cross-legged next to the Vitality Spring. At Lin Yuan's current realm, he had vaguely sensed that at the far north, beyond the northern region and even the north of the Endless Sea domain, there indistinctly existed a black hole. This black hole, like a gluttonous beast, was incessantly devouring the heavenly earth vital energy. This caused the overall heavenly earth vital energy to decline at a certain slow pace. 50,000, 100,000 years ago, the 5 domains mainland had seen the birth of 11th realm powerhouses. But from 10,000 to 50,000 years ago, 11th realm powerhouses had become legends, and even 10th realm powerhouses were extremely rare. As for now, in the 10,000 years since, the only confirmed 10th realm powerhouse was Tianjianzi. Under the prospering of great destiny, those children of destiny might step into the 10th realm, but it was a temporary solution, not addressing the root cause. The so-called great destiny was merely exhausting the potential of thousands, tens of thousands of years to come. After these children of destiny have passed away, this world might not even see a 9th realm powerhouse. And the chief culprit of all this was the massive black hole that Lin Yuan had vaguely sensed. Located north of the Endless Sea domain, eastern region, in a purple bamboo forest, Xiao Hua, Yang Bixin, and Xin Lang, the 3 children of destiny, stayed here. Even if Xiao Yuan is strong, it should not affect us. His strength is his own affair, we still need to continue cultivating. Yang Bixin spoke softly but was the quickest among the 3 to recover. Absolutely. Heaven forges ahead, and a gentleman should ceaselessly strive to strengthen himself. Xin Lang quickly rallied. Embarrassed. Xiao Hua's eyes were red, but he also recovered in that moment. The 3 looked at each other and laughed. Just as they were about to continue chatting, suddenly, a roaring noise came from deep within the purple bamboo forest. Seeing this, Xiao Hua and the others immediately stood up and approached. They vaguely felt that there was something extraordinary about the roaring noise. Shortly after, the trio arrived in front of a gigantic cave entrance. The entrance was pitch black, but immense primordial chi fluctuations were emanating from within, as if it connected to another world. What is this? Xiao Hua frowned. This is an entrance to the underground world, a rare sight every tens of thousands of years. Xin Lang pondered for a moment, his expression becoming excited. With Xin Lang's explanation, Xiao Hua and Yang Bixin gained some understanding of the underground world. The so-called underground world was the subterranean world of the 5 domains, vast and immense. Most importantly, it retained the concentration of primordial chi from tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years ago. In the past 100,000 years, entrances to the underground world appeared several times. Each time, the cultivators who entered emerged significantly stronger, indeed the top opportunity in the world. Ha ha ha! Even the heavens are helping us. Xiao Hua and the others glanced at each other and stepped in without hesitation. Once the 3 had entirely entered the black hole entrance, the ground shook again, and chunks of rock fell, completely concealing the entrance. Time slowly passed. Tianjian Mountain was flattened by a powerful entity. The truth gradually spread that Demon Lord Xiao Yuan's demonic power was complete. He sent out his primordial spirit, transforming into a gigantic godly figure 100,000 zhang high, leveling Tianjian Mountain. When this incident first broke, most did not believe it because it was too incredible. 100,000 zhang tall primordial spirit, that's extremely powerful. But as time passed, the demonic Tao continued as usual, and more people started to believe. After all, if the story were false, Xiahou Yuan would have quickly come forward to debunk it, lest the next target to be flattened be the demonic Tao, right? But Xiahou Yuan did not deny it, and no demonic being came forward to explain, which meant it was tacitly accepted. In this scenario, Xiahou Yuan remained alive and well, only proving that the news was true. Suddenly, Xiahou Yuan was revered by many powerhouses of the 5 domains as the strongest in the world. To be precise, the strongest in the last 100,000 million years. 100,000 zhang tall primordial spirit was simply terrifying. And just then, a cultivation system known as martial Tao rapidly spread across the 5 domains mainland. Those without cultivation aptitudes, the ordinary people, began trying this martial Tao cultivation system. Even those cultivators in the 3rd realm, 4th realm, upon discovering the potential of the martial Tao cultivation system, decisively abandoned their own cultivation and switched to martial Tao. And just like that, 100 years hurriedly passed by. Chapter 172 How Tall is the Demon Lord? 100 years had passed, and the world had transformed significantly. In the eyes of ordinary people, this might represent a lifetime. Even for cultivators below the 6th realm, 100 years could be considered half of one's life. Especially this century, the changes in the world were far greater than those of the past 1,000 or even 10,000 years. The first and foremost was the leveling of Tianjian Mountain, an impact that was not merely temporary but profound and enduring. What was Tianjian Mountain? It was the mountain gate of the Tianjian sect, the stronghold of the foremost power in the world. For tens of thousands of years, the Tianjian sect had given rise to more than one cultivator of the 10th realm, and its influence in the 5 domains mainland was deeply entrenched. Such a colossal power, even if it were to decline, would do so gradually, only completely falling after thousands or tens of thousands of years. Yet now it had been flattened in a single stroke. More crucially, it wasn't just the disciples of the Tianjian sect who died. Before the flattening of Tianjian Mountain, it was the time of Tianjianzi's 800th birthday celebration. At that time, the mountain had gathered all the powerful allies of the Tianjian sect. But the outcome, these mighty individuals perished along with Tianjian Mountain. This led to a catastrophic loss for most powers in the 5 domains. Subsequently, when facing the onslaught from the demonic Tao forces, the native powers of the 5 domains simply collapsed. In the first decade of this century, the demonic Tao accomplished the feat of unifying the 5 domains, a feat not even the Tianjian sect in its heyday, despite many powers submitting to them, could claim to have truly unified the 5 domains. And all this was accomplished by the demonic Tao forces. To be precise, the demonic Tao forces were able to do this entirely because of Lin Yuan. Without Lin Yuan's destruction of the major arteries of the righteous powers in the 5 domains, even if the demonic Tao wished to unify the 5 domains, they would have been dragged into a lengthy war, taking far more than 10 years to achieve unity. Of course, the so-called unification of the 5 domains by the demonic Tao was merely superficial. Behind the scenes, there were still many remnants of the original powers of the 5 domains trying to launch counterattacks, attempting to reclaim everything they had lost. But with Lin Yuan present, all resistance was futile. Lin Yuan did not even leave the underground palace, but merely sent out his Yin God and Yang spirit, inflicting heavy losses on the resisting forces. Even so, such resistance continued to occur. Each interval between resistance efforts was getting longer, clearly indicating that the resistors also knew that they were no match for Demon Lord Xiahou Yuan head-on. They could only lurk in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to strike. In the eastern region, Binhai City, inside an inn, a storyteller was fervently speaking. Speaking of recent events, a group of strong individuals arrived in the coastal areas, suspected to be disciples of the Qingshui sect, which was annihilated by the demonic Tao forces 100 years ago. The surviving disciples fled overseas and now they have returned, surely up to no good. This storyteller clearly had a well-informed source, even providing his own insights. From what I see, the eastern region is about to experience unrest, the storyteller said, his words filled with emotion. Great chaos in the world was definitely not good news for common folk like them. Meanwhile, in a corner of the inn, an old man with white hair and beard sipped his wine, savoring it joyfully. If there had been a ninth realm expert present, they would have detected that this old man, with his unfathomable aura, was also a cultivator of the ninth realm. However, this old man was different from other cultivators of the ninth realm. He did not seek power or wealth but enjoyed traveling through the 5 domains and savoring fine wines. This osmanthus brew from Binhai City is becoming more flavorful. The old man nodded in approval. Oh, Grandpa, you shouldn't drink. Did you hear what the storyteller just said? The eastern region is becoming restless. The young girl at his side tugged at his sleeve. Oh! The old man responded indifferently and continued to enjoy his osmanthus brew. Grandpa! The girl became a bit anxious and couldn't help but ask, do you think the 5 tribes will make a move? What does a little girl like you have to worry about such matters? The old man glared at her and, seeing tears starting to form in her eyes, quickly soothed her. I don't know if the eastern region will be unstable, but a while ago, some folks from Dihua's sect sought me out, wanting me to take action and occupy an Earth-grade spirit spring. Ah? So, Grandpa, did you agree? The girl's eyes immediately brightened. Of course not. An old man like me should just enjoy his twilight years. The old man shook his head and said, he did not have the courage to oppose the demon lord. Who was the demon lord? He was the strongest being in 100,000 years. Ordinary cultivator may not understand the concept of cultivating a primordial spirit to 100,000 zhang. But as a ninth realm cultivator, the old man was aware of the immense difficulty and the almost inconceivable awe that it inspired. Besides, the 5 domains under the rule of the demonic Tao forces, it's not much different than before. The old man glanced at his granddaughter, a curious expression on his face. 90 years ago, when the demonic Tao unified the 5 domains, the old man had seen it all. Originally, he thought that the suffering of all beings was about to begin, for how could the 5 domains possibly fare well under the rule of the demonic Tao? Would all beings simply be penned up and used as nourishment for the cultivators of the demonic Tao? However, as time passed, the old man suddenly realized that this scenario never actually happened. After unifying the 5 domains, the demonic Tao forces actively disseminated a cultivation system known as martial Tao. This system, which had a low threshold, was explained in detail by appointees from the demonic Tao forces. This generous act was something that had never occurred in tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years before. Chapter 173. The once great powers of the 5 domains, to maintain their own status, would never have passed on their family's cultivation techniques. Not to mention specially sending people to instruct others. This was simply, the elder was unable to describe such a measure. He only felt that the thoughts and considerations of the demon venerable were completely beyond those of ordinary people. Grandfather, I want to go to the central region and visit the sacred land of demonic Tao. The young girl whispered at that moment. The sacred land of demonic Tao was the very underground palace where Lin Yuan cultivated. Over a century, this underground palace had become a sacred site in the 5 domains, with countless cultivators going there to pay their respects. Of course, to avoid disturbing the demon venerable, all cultivators could only observe from 50 leagues away from the underground palace. The sacred land of demonic Tao? The elder was somewhat hesitant. But upon recalling that he had never opposed the demon venerable over the years, his expression quickly became calm. All right, the elder nodded, giving his consent. Beneath the underground palace, next to the vitality spring, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, his aura completely withdrawn, as if he was in an entirely different space. Seemingly illusionary, seemingly ethereal. Name? Lin Yuan. Role? Holder of the Myriad Realms Gate. Bound talent. Heaven-defying comprehension. Current state. Consciousness descent. Remaining stay duration. 140 years. 140 more years of staying duration. Lin Yuan glanced at the ethereal text below his line of sight and thought to himself. Unbeknownst to him, He had already been in this world for 160 years. The 300-year stay had almost imperceptibly passed by a large part. The 16th realm. Lin Yuan examined himself. 100 years had elapsed, and Lin Yuan had broken through 2 realms, from the 14th realm to the 16th realm. However, upon entering the 16th realm, Lin Yuan faintly felt that this realm seemed to be the limit of this world. Advancing further might provoke the innate rejection of the world. Perhaps directly expelling Lin Yuan from the world? No, that's not right. The limit of the world should not be merely the 16th realm. Is it because of that black hole to the north? Lin Yuan's thoughts surged as his gaze once again drifted northward. More than 100 years ago, Lin Yuan had detected a massive black hole to the far north, beyond the endless sea domain. This black hole, at every moment, was devouring the heavenly earth vital energy of this world. As a result, the upper limit of the world's powerhouses had been decreasing again and again. 50,000 years ago, even 100,000 years ago, there were traces of 11th realm powerhouses. Yet, in the recent tens of thousands of years, the 10th realm has become quite rare. Perhaps tens of thousands of years later, even powerhouses of the 9th realm will become a legend. It was due to that black hole that the upper limit of this world had decreased and was almost unable to accommodate Lin Yuan anymore. Over tens of thousands of years, whenever a 10th realm powerhouse emerged, they would disappear from the 5 domains within just decades or a century, perhaps heading for that black hole to the north. Lin Yuan looked thoughtful. After the demonic Tao unified the 5 domains, he had greatly increased access to historical records, understanding the final actions of those 10th realm powerhouses over tens of thousands of years. While Lin Yuan was pondering over this black hole, he seemed to sense something, emitting a slight sound of surprise, and turned his gaze toward the east. Under Lin Yuan's perception, 30 leagues away from the underground palace, 2 figures were stealthily approaching. One was the form of an elderly man, possessing the power of the 9th realm. The other was a girl in her teens, currently full of curiosity and inspecting the direction of the underground palace. Lin Yuan's gaze fell on the young girl. The Bai family still has descendants. Lin Yuan closed his eyes, feeling a sense of nostalgia welling up within him. The Bai family had significant ties with Xiahou Yuan, who hadn't yet achieved greatness in his demonic practices when he fell in love with the direct daughter of the Bai family. Later, because Xiahou Yuan made too many enemies, the Bai family was implicated and exterminated from top to bottom. The Bai family held a special significance for Xiahou Yuan. Back then, Luan Yi from the Tianjian sect, under the guise of Bai Qing'er, approached Xiahou Yuan, which is how she managed to gain Xiahou Yuan's trust. It was because she pretended to be a descendant of the Bai family's bloodline. Otherwise, how could a cold and ruthless man like Xiahou Yuan invest so much emotion in a woman? Finally, his mental state was forced, and he was suppressed in the 18th layer of the Great Abyss underground. However, now, Lin Yuan once again felt the aura of the Bai family bloodline from that young girl. This type of bloodline was not the disguise like Bai Qing'er's. It genuinely originated from the depths of her lineage. 30 leagues from the underground palace. The elder was somewhat nervous. They were now within 30 leagues from the underground palace, having ventured far deeper than the designated 50 leagues. Xiao Bai, are you sure it's all right to be this close? The elder asked again. Originally, he had come with the young girl, like other cultivators, to slowly view the area from 50 leagues away from the underground palace. But as the girl was exploring, she led the elder along a small path within the 50-league boundary, until now, when they were only 30 leagues from the underground palace. This made the elder sweat coldly when he thought that just 30 leagues away was the demon venerable Xiahou Yuan, who could level the Tianjian sect with one step. The elder's legs grew weak. Grandfather, what are you afraid of? I specifically found out about this path. Many people have walked it, just to get closer to the sacred site for a better view. The girl led the way in front, her tone brimming with excitement. Are you sure? The elder was now somewhat regretting bringing the girl here. Though the girl was not his biological granddaughter, having been found by him in the wild, the elder's affection for her was genuine, always treating her as his own granddaughter. Absolutely sure. Before us, many have already used this path to visit, and no problems occurred. Chapter 174. The girl patted her chest and said, "I hope so." The old man steadied himself, trying hard not to overthink. He had also noticed that many people had trodden the path beneath their feet. Yet, even being so close to a personage like the Demon Lord, the old man still felt fear from the bottom of his heart. "Grandpa, you're too timid." The girl couldn't help but say. "Timid?" The old man thought helplessly to himself, but didn't know how to retort. Just then, in front of the path that the girl and the old man were traveling, a tall man appeared silently. The tall man stood there quietly, seemingly lost in thought. Upon seeing this, the girl immediately grinned and laughed. "Grandpa, look. It's not just us on this road. There are others who want to get a closer look at the Holy Land." The girl immediately said, "That's good." The old man breathed a sigh of relief. The tall man stood there without a hint of a cultivator's aura. To the old man, this was a sign of safety. If even ordinary people could get close without harm, they probably wouldn't have any problems either. Having walked along this path for so long without encountering anyone, the girl, upon meeting the tall man, immediately went up to strike up a conversation. "Are you here to observe the Holy Land too?" "Observe the Holy Land?" The tall man turned his head, glanced at the girl, and didn't answer. "Don't be shy. Apart from observing the Holy Land, who else would come here?" Thinking the tall man might be shy, the girl approached and said, "It's just as well we met. You can come with us. My grandpa is really powerful, a great master of the 5 domains." The girl extended an invitation. The tall man remained unmoved, neither accepting nor declining. This made the girl somewhat exasperated. What's with this guy acting like a mute? Did he even understand what she was saying? "Let me put it this way. My grandpa is a 9th realm powerhouse. Do you know what the 9th realm is?" The girl couldn't help but reveal some home truths. In the 5 domains mainland, there are fewer than 100 9th realm powerhouses, and my grandpa is one of them. If you follow us, you don't need to worry about safety. Were you picked up by your grandfather? Finally, the tall man spoke up, his voice deep and magnetic. He hadn't detected the Bai family bloodline in the old man. "Ah? How did you know?" The girl's eyes widened. She was certain she had not told the tall man about this matter. "Could it be that you are?" The girl's eyes lit up. "Are you a fortune teller? Someone who can divine? Did you realize instantly that I'm not my grandfather's biological granddaughter?" "Bai!" The old man vaguely sensed something and his voice trembled slightly, not even daring to look directly at the tall man. But at that moment, his voice was so faint that the girl did not notice it at all. "I didn't think you actually had some skill. I always thought those fortune tellers were just scam artists." The girl became interested. The tall man's ability to immediately see that she was not related by blood to the old man was obviously no simple matter. Come. Help me see when I can become a powerhouse like my grandpa." The girl stood on tiptoe, patted the tall man on the shoulder and said, "Don't worry, as long as you're accurate, I won't skimp on your reward. Let me tell you, my grandpa has a lot of treasures. Just take your pick of any." "Bye." Seeing the girl actually daring to pat the tall man on the shoulder, the old man felt a rush of blood to the head and started to grow dizzy, his legs trembling, nearly collapsing right there and then. And it was precisely as the girl stood on tiptoe to pat the tall man on the shoulder that the air seemed to solidify. One after another, figures appeared all around. The aura emanating from each figure was that of a 9th realm peak. No fewer than 29th realm peak powerhouses stood quietly a short distance away. The leader among these figures exuded an aura that surpassed the 9th realm. However, all these figures appeared behind the girl, and considering her low power level, she didn't notice anything amiss and remained unaware. But whereas the girl was oblivious, the old man next to her sensed everything very clearly. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. His legs shook uncontrollably, and he was nearly about to kneel on the spot. Retreat. The tall man stood with his hands behind his back, speaking indifferently. Suddenly, every figure that appeared vanished swiftly, as if by command. The alley returned to its original state. Only the old man knew what had just happened. He and the girl had nearly walked through the gates of death. "You remind me of an old friend of mine." The tall man smiled faintly. He reached out and gently touched the girl's head. Ouch! The girl didn't understand why, but facing the tall man's gesture, she had no intention of resistance and stood there dazed. "Go back. Practice well." The tall man raised his right hand. With a gentle wave, the old man and the girl felt darkness before their eyes. When they opened their eyes again, they found themselves 50 miles away once more. "Grandfather, what was that?" The girl was a bit bewildered. Took her a long while to react. What had just happened? Wasn't she just talking with the tall man? Bye! Only the old man had recovered his senses. He directly grabbed the girl's collar. Then, he sprinted in the opposite direction of the underground palace. Several hours later, thousands of miles away from the underground palace, the old man finally stopped. Fear still lingered on his face. "Do you know who that was just now?" The old man took a deep breath, raised his hand to slap the girl but couldn't bring himself to do it. "Ah? Who was he?" The girl blinked her eyes. By now she had also begun to realize. "Demon Lord. He is Demon Venerable Xiahou Yuan." The old man's voice trembled as he spoke. "He is the Demon Lord?" Bai's eyes widened once again. After a long while, Bai suddenly remembered a question. It was a question she had been too embarrassed to ask before, but having just met the Demon Lord and survived, she naturally wanted to ask it aloud. "Grandfather, everyone says Demon Venerable Xiahou Yuan is unfathomably tall. So how tall is he really?" The girl looked at the old man full of anticipation. "How tall?" The old man seemed to see the tall figure of the man flashing before his eyes once again. He should be as tall as the heavens, I suppose." Chapter 175 World Consciousness Descent. "It's just." The elder suddenly remembered something. He examined the girl over and over again. If he hadn't seen wrongly just now, did the girl stand on her tiptoes and pat that tall man on the shoulder? If that tall man was the Demon Lord, didn't that mean the girl had patted the shoulder of the Demon Lord? Such an audacious act, and yet they both managed to come out alive, was simply inconceivable. That was Demon Venerable Xiahou Yuan, a ruthless person who could flatten Tianjin Mountain with one stomp. At that moment, when he saw the girl reaching out to pat the other's shoulder, fear clouded his consciousness. However, unexpectedly, nothing happened afterward. "She resembles an old friend." The elder remembered a sentence said by the tall man. Could it be that this granddaughter he had picked up was a descendant of an old friend of Xiahou Yuan? For a moment the elder was puzzled. After thinking for a while, he decided not to think further about it. No matter what the girl's relationship with the Demon Lord was, she was his granddaughter. Having lived together for over 10 years, their bond was like that of family, if not by blood. The underground palace. Lin Yuan's gaze reached far towards where the elder was. Descendant of the Bai family. Lin Yuan's expression was calm. The descendant of the Bai family was Xiahou Yuan's deepest bond. Just now, when Lin Yuan appeared in front of that girl, he reached out and touched her head, and casually transmitted a strand of primordial qi to her. This strand of primordial qi could subtly improve the girl's aptitude. With this primordial qi, entering the 9th realm in the future would be no difficult task. Lin Yuan's action also served as a complete severance of the original ties between Xiahou Yuan and the Bai family. The 5 domains. Lin Yuan's gaze was profound. Under his command, the demonic Tao forces unified the 5 domains mainland with terrifying speed. It wasn't that Lin Yuan wished to claim the throne of the 5 domains. Rather, he wanted to spread the martial Tao cultivation system as widely as possible. Only by unifying the 5 domains could he openly propagate martial Tao, which was Lin Yuan's true purpose. During the few hundred years he would stay in this world, he wanted to fully integrate the martial Tao cultivation system into the 5 domains. That way, even if he were to leave one day, or even if the demonic Tao forces were overthrown, the martial Tao cultivation system wouldn't necessarily disappear. Just like a star colonizing movement, colonizers would spread their culture and language as extensively as possible on the colonized planet. Thus, even if the colonizers were to be driven out and the colony became independent, it would likely still use the language and culture of the colonizers. There are countless evolution paths in the main world, each standing alongside strong practitioners. Even a martial path evolutionary path, no matter how excellent, couldn't compete with those that had existed for tens of thousands or even millions of years. Therefore, why not open up a new battlefield and spread one's evolution path through other worlds? Even though the scale of other worlds was far less than the main world, like the current 5 regions world, which at most was comparable to a higher-grade life planet in the main world, one could not ignore the sheer numbers. With the door to the myriad realms, Lin Yuan could spread it an infinite number of times. Furthermore, even if there are 100 billion citizens on a high-tier life planet in the main world, how many can truly cultivate a certain evolution path? In other worlds, Lin Yuan believed that with his means, he could make the martial Tao cultivation system the mainstream system of cultivation. That is, the first cultivation system that all beings would prioritize to practice. Day after day, as the years accumulate, what do those super-strong beings in the main world have to compare with Lin Yuan? Although I'm not sure what use there is in spreading the evolution path I created, or what its relationship with the ultimate leap is, there's no harm in it for me, just a small effort required, thought Lin Yuan privately. After all, no matter how many people practiced the martial Tao cultivation evolution path, it wouldn't affect Lin Yuan. And as for worrying about his descendants surpassing Lin Yuan, the founder, if it were the founder of an ordinary evolution path, there might be such concerns. But as for Lin Yuan, with his against heaven's understanding, not to mention the latecomers, even the trailblazers would be quickly caught up by Lin Yuan. The successors wouldn't even qualify to look up to him, let alone surpass him. My lord! At that moment, a voice came from outside. Come in. Lin Yuan said as if he had anticipated it, nodding his head. Soon, a figure walked in with utmost respect. It was Situ Ming. 100 years had passed, and with Lin Yuan's assistance, Situ Ming had successfully advanced into the 10th realm. He was the first among Lin Yuan's subordinates to reach the 10th realm. A perfect vessel indeed. Lin Yuan looked at the respectful Situ Ming and thought to himself. Situ Ming's body was a 5-colored lotus, with both flesh and primordial spirit coming from Lin Yuan. Therefore, in Lin Yuan's eyes, Situ Ming was the most perfect vessel for consciousness descent. In simple terms, if Lin Yuan's physical body were destroyed, he could directly take residence in Situ Ming's body. The two would be a perfect match without needing any time to adapt. Of course, in Lin Yuan's eyes, Situ Ming's usefulness was far greater than just being a vessel for descent. With Lin Yuan's current strength, even if all the powerful beings of this world attacked together, they wouldn't be sufficient for him to slap away. The only threat to Lin Yuan was the consciousness of the world itself. There was no need to prepare any vessel for descent. I need you to do something. Lin Yuan looked at Situ Ming and slowly spoke. Please speak, my lord. Situ Ming immediately responded formally. To say the least, even if Lin Yuan asked him to take his own life right now, Situ Ming would execute the command without hesitation. 140 years from now, I will leave this world. At that time, you will take my place, ensuring the spread of the martial Tao cultivation system. If there is any sign of its decline, intervene to prevent it. Lin Yuan stated. All things cannot escape the passage of time. Though over the past century, the martial Tao cultivation system had already spread widely throughout the 5 domains mainland. Chapter 176. More and more people began to practice martial Tao. But as time passed, there could be many accidents. And Situ Ming was the contingency plan left by Lin Yuan, the best candidate to protect the path of martial Tao. Situ Ming wasn't of the human race. His true form was a 5-colored lotus, possessing a longevity that spanned over 10,000 years. Moreover, with Lin Yuan there to aid his cultivation, entering the 11th realm before his time limit was no issue. With such a protector, Lin Yuan naturally felt at ease. After all, Situ Ming's physical body and primordial spirit were both bestowed by him, ensuring absolute loyalty, and even as time passed, no other thoughts would arise. As for what to do after 10,000 years, once Situ Ming passed away, Lin Yuan felt that if martial Tao could exist for 10,000 years in the Five Domains mainland, it would surely have taken deep root, making it impossible to erase even if one wished to. And even if something unexpected really occurred, there would be nothing Lin Yuan could do, as 10,000 years was not just a distance, but an immensely long span of time. Yes, Situ Ming agreed without hesitation. If the demonic Tao forces are threatened, Situ Ming asked cautiously. He meant to ask whether he should intervene to maintain control over the Five Domains if the demonic Tao forces could no longer maintain their rule in the future. You don't need to concern yourself with that. Just ensure the continuation of the martial Tao heritage. Lin Yuan waved his hand. Ensuring the transmission of a cultivation system and ensuring the transmission of a unified power are not the same in terms of difficulty. The latter is full of hidden dangers, and if Situ Ming truly dared to meddle, even with the strength of the 11th realm, he might not come out unscathed. Situ Ming wasn't Lin Yuan, who had the power to crush everything. The fact that 11th realm powerhouses had once emerged in this world indicated the possibility of more appearing in the future. Lin Yuan, on the other hand, didn't care. With the strength of the 16th realm, no amount of 11th realm fighters posed a threat to him. Besides, Lin Yuan had left some trump cards for the demonic Tao forces, ensuring that they would continue to rule the Five Domains for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years after his departure. You may leave. After today, you need not show yourself in front of others, Lin Yuan instructed. Just observe the Five Domains from the shadows. As you command. Situ Ming felt somewhat disheartened. He vaguely sensed that his master was giving his last words, but how could that be possible? A 10th realm powerhouse lived for 2,000 years, and his master crushed 10th realm fighters as if stepping on ants, so why would he be giving his last words so soon? Watching Situ Ming's departing figure, Lin Yuan fell into contemplation again. To fully integrate the martial Tao cultivation system into this world, Lin Yuan had made 3 preparations. The first preparation was the unification of the 5 domains. To spread the martial Tao cultivation system in the most orthodox way. The second preparation was having Situ Ming, the protector, to ensure that the martial Tao cultivation system could still be spread steadily after his departure, capable of facing and resolving any accident that might occur. The first 2 preparations were for unexpected situations under normal conditions. They covered nearly all possibilities. As for the third preparation, Lin Yuan targeted the world consciousness of this world. The world is conscious. This was something Lin Yuan had vaguely sensed during his first travel. In the martial world, when Lin Yuan finally began to touch its upper limits, he felt a pressure coming from the heavens and the earth, like a whale stranded on the beach. This was the world consciousness's rejection. As for the second and third worlds he traveled to, Lin Yuan never had this feeling, solely because those 2 worlds were special. In the Dragon Tiger world, there were items like the true martial sword and primeval demon spirits from higher realms. Its world level was vaguely elevated, so Lin Yuan never felt rejection in the end. The Divine Arms world was even more akin to being incomplete, with parts of its laws extracted by the ancient godly beings to create divine weapons, leading to the world's consciousness being weakened. In this current world, Lin Yuan could faintly sense the will of the world. What is the world consciousness? It has no joys or sorrows and is similar to the artificial intelligence of the main world, constantly maintaining the operations of the world itself. Lin Yuan's third preparation was to prevent the world consciousness from deliberately suppressing the martial path evolutionary path. If the world consciousness detested the martial path evolutionary path and under its own evolution, even with the presence of the protector Situ Ming, the martial path evolutionary path might not last long and could disappear through various accidents. World consciousness. Lin Yuan murmured softly. The world consciousness was not a tangible entity. If Lin Yuan wanted to meet with the world consciousness, it could be difficult or not, depending on the approach. The simplest method was through the children of destiny. The children of destiny are products born from the outburst of the world's grand fortune, targets of the world consciousness's keen attention. If Lin Yuan found a child of destiny, he might be able to communicate with the world consciousness. Of course, even without a child of destiny, there were still ways to force the world consciousness to appear. That is, by destroying this world. Lin Yuan naturally would not employ this method, but it could be used to intimidate the world consciousness. Child of destiny. Lin Yuan pondered. Over 100 years ago, the Tai-yin primordial spirit had once glimpsed those 3 children of destiny, remembering their auras. But soon after, these 3 children of destiny disappeared from the 5 domains mainland. Lin Yuan speculated that under the empowerment of the heavenly and earthly movements, they must have encountered some extraordinary fortunes. I'll wait a bit longer. After pondering for a moment, Lin Yuan sank back into cultivation. With his current level of strength, as long as those 3 children of destiny reappeared on the 5 domains mainland, Chapter 177, they could perceive it in an instant. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, several years had gone by. In a certain purple bamboo forest in the eastern region, thunderous roars, a series of booming sounds came forth. Suddenly, 3 figures soared into the sky. A vast, distant aura wildly dispersed. The area within tens, hundreds, even hundreds of miles, was all enveloped by a terrifying aura. Ha 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 ha. We're out, we're finally out. Xiaohua, Yang Bixin, and Xin Lang, the 3 of them laughed wildly. Their clothes were tattered, but their eyes shone with extreme brightness. Over a century, they had endured endless torment underground and had finally passed the test, emerging through their own strength. And after such a long time of cultivation, their strength had leaped from the peak of the 9th realm to the 10th realm. And not just the 10th realm but the peak of the 10th realm. Furthermore, in the underground world, the trio had discovered a joint attack skill. After they perfected it, their combined attack could withstand opponents from the 11th realm and even the 12th realm. After a long time, the 3 vented their emotions. They started gathering together to discuss what to do next. Our current strength could dominate a region even 10,000 years ago, and if we use that secret technique, maybe even demon venerable Xiahou Yuan. Xin Lang said this but stopped short, his gaze revealing a hint of ambition. The underground world century had been a persistent nightmare because of demon venerable Xiahou Yuan. If the 3 of them could defeat Xiahou Yuan, no, just withstand him or even just save their lives from him, that nightmarish influence would completely vanish. With their minds fulfilled, even striving for the 11th realm might successfully happen. Then, Xiaohua also felt slightly excited, about to ask when they would seek out Xiahou Yuan. Suddenly, just then, a deep, magnetic voice came through. No need to look for me. In an instant, the heavens and earth turned upside down. The sun and moon lost their light. A mysterious aura filled the area for thousands of miles. Under the shocked gazes of Xiaohua, Yang Bixin, and Xin Lang, a towering figure approached from the horizon, each step seeming to compress space. In just a few steps he stood before them. I came by myself. This towering figure stopped, looking down at Xiaohua and the others. Demon venerable Xiahou Yuan. Xiao was scalp numbed, his spirit shuddering, feeling as if the power of the 10th realm within him had completely succumbed to stillness. In front of Xiahou Yuan, Xiaohua felt he wasn't the invincible fighter of the 10th realm, but rather a baby, a mere ant. How can he be so strong? Xin Lang felt utterly disheartened. The sensation Xiahou Yuan gave them now was far stronger than that of the primordial spirit from a century ago, by 10-fold, 100-fold. During these 100 years, not only had they made significant advances, Xiahou Yuan had also been refining his skills continuously, even refining at a pace much faster than theirs. Xiaohua opened his mouth, wanting to say something. But then he saw Xiahou Yuan, suspended in the sky, raising his right hand toward them. Boom! A terrifying aura instantly began to compress. Xiaohua and the others suddenly spat out blood, their consciousness beginning to blur. Are we going to die? Yang Bixin slowly closed her eyes. However, just then, a cold, vast consciousness appeared silently. Xiaohua slowly stood up, his eyes, which had been red, now turned pure gold. He looked up at Lin Yuan. Though looking up, there was a sense of looking down. As if heaven were looking down on all creations. World consciousness. Lin Yuan withdrew his hand, placing it behind his back. You've finally shown yourself. Chapter 178 Trade Crossing the Seas, the 11th Realms Beyond the 5 Domains. Xiaohua stood erect, his eyes a pure golden color, void of any emotional fluctuation. Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan was not surprised. For him, Situ Ming was the perfect vessel, and he could dominate his body with just a thought. After all, everything about Situ Ming was bestowed by Lin Yuan, who couldn't resist him, and he didn't even harbor the thought of resisting. Similarly, in the eyes of the Supreme World Consciousness, the perfect vessel is naturally the child of destiny. Whenever the world consciousness wishes, it could descend into the body of the child of destiny at any moment and take control of everything. Faced with the descent of the world will, the child of destiny couldn't resist, and no matter how strong, it was pointless. Years ago, Lin Yuan planned to force the world consciousness to appear through those 3 children of destiny. Regrettably, the 3 children of destiny had disappeared from the 5 domains mainland a century ago. Until moments ago, the aura of the 3 children of destiny reemerged, and Lin Yuan immediately rushed over. Actually, Lin Yuan had no intention of killing the children of destiny. He was merely feigning a murderous intent to test the waters. Even if the world consciousness did not appear in the end, Lin Yuan intended to hold back. After all, the children of destiny are the favored ones of the heaven and earth's grand fate, the spokespersons of world consciousness, and killing them directly would be too wasteful. Rather, it was better to slowly refine the traces of grand fate from their bodies, which might prove useful to him. However, Lin Yuan was fortunate, as this slight probing managed to force the world consciousness into appearance. Lin Yuan speculated that the world consciousness valued these 3 children of destiny so much because it had invested a lot in them. If it were 100 years ago, these 3 children of destiny would only possess the strength of the 9th realm. Even if Lin Yuan decided to hunt them down, the world consciousness might not necessarily intervene. A child of destiny of the 9th realm, even if one died, cultivating another one wouldn't be difficult. But the 10th realm, especially these 3 children of destiny, being at the peak of the 10th realm, just a hair's breadth from the 11th realm, Lin Yuan even sensed a kind of homogeneous aura from them. If the 3 joined forces and stimulated the homogeneous aura within their bodies, they could utterly unleash the power of the peak of the 11th realm or even the 12th realm. To cultivate these 3 children of destiny, the world consciousness obviously had also invested a lot, and wouldn't allow them to die easily at the hands of Lin Yuan. State your demands. With pure golden eyes, Xiaohua spoke in a flat tone. At this moment, his own consciousness was in a deep slumber, completely replaced by the world consciousness, making him the most powerful existence in this world. So powerful that even Lin Yuan couldn't match him. But the world consciousness isn't a living being. Everything it did had to follow rules, far from being as unrestrained as Lin Yuan. I want the martial Tao cultivation system to be eternally inherited in this world, thriving for tens of thousands of years. Lin Yuan spoke. Without the tacit approval of the world consciousness, even if Lin Yuan made many preparations, the martial Tao cultivation system would struggle to endure. Lin Yuan might not face any mishaps while he was present, but as soon as he left this world, under the suppression of the world consciousness, it might once again nurture another child of destiny specifically to eradicate the martial Tao cultivation system. Impossible! Xiaohua directly refused. As the absolute dominion of this world, He was very clear that the cultivation system from the first realm to the 10th realm was the most suitable for this world. As for the martial Tao cultivation system, while not weaker than the native cultivation system, the world consciousness faintly realized that allowing this path to rise in the 5 domains was not a good thing. This cultivation system, which clearly bore the mark of a specific existence, could influence him if allowed to develop over a long period. Compared to the 3rd world that Lin Yuan traveled through, the Divine Arms world, this world's world consciousness was much more intact, able to make decisions that were most beneficial for itself. Impossible! Lin Yuan's expression remained unchanged. Since the world consciousness hadn't immediately left, it indicated that there was still room for negotiation, and Lin Yuan's initial demand was rather steep, yet there was still significant room to step back. Outside the purple bamboo forest, Yang Bixin and Xin Lang's faces were pale. When the world consciousness descended into Xiaohua, it casually threw them out. Clearly, it didn't want these two to overhear the direct conversation between Lin Yuan and itself. Lin Yuan had no objection to this. Xiaohua he. Yang Bixin's lips trembled slightly. The power of Xiahou Yuan, that formidable devil, far exceeded their imagination. Before meeting Xiahou Yuan, the 3 of them were full of ambition, devising a series of plans, such as what to do if Xiahou Yuan struck first, what to do if they attacked first, and how to save themselves if they couldn't defeat Xiahou Yuan, among others. However, when they actually faced Xiahou Yuan, the 3 realized how naive their ideas were. Ambition? A series of plans? No amount of preparation could bridge the gap in absolute power. In front of Xiahou Yuan, the 3 were like ants waiting for judgment, incapable of any other action. If it weren't for Xiaohua at the end. At that thought, Yang Bixin and Xin Lang exchanged glances. As powerhouses at the peak of the 10th realm, they were certainly far inferior to Xiahou Yuan, but they could instantly determine that Xiaohua was replaced by the world consciousness. They also realized that Xiaohua seemed like a different person. And Xiaohua's transformation directly caused Xiahou Yuan to stop and even expelled them, not allowing them to hear the conversation between the two. Could it be? Xin Lang harbored a guess in his heart. He had received the heritage of an 11th realm powerhouse from 50,000 years ago, knew many secrets of the world, including descriptions of the world consciousness. Chapter 179. However, within the description of the 11th realm powerhouses, the world consciousness is referred to by another name. Heavenly Tao, or the Heavenly Lord. What should we do now? Yang Bixin asked in a low voice. She glanced toward the direction of the purple bamboo forest. At that moment, it appeared hazy, almost like another world. What should we do? Xin Lang thought for a moment and said helplessly, "Let's just wait here." He understood what Yang Bixin meant, questioning whether they should take the chance to leave. However, they had just emerged from the underground world, and in a brief moment, Xiahou Yuan appeared. This meant that it was extremely easy for Xiahou Yuan to find them. With Xiahou Yuan's strength, even if they took the chance to leave now, as long as he still harbored the intent to kill, they could not escape. Instead of that, it would be better to continue waiting and see how the conversation between the two inside concluded. If Xiaohua persuaded Xiahou Yuan, they could justify not fleeing. If the persuasion failed, even if they fled to the ends of the earth, they would still face death. Upon hearing this, Yang Bixin fell silent. With her intelligence, she could think of these points too, yet she was too shocked and momentarily asked such a question. About half an hour later, under the watchful eyes of Yang Bixin and Xin Lang, the hazy space near the distant purple bamboo forest gradually became clearer. Seeing this, Yang Bixin and Xin Lang did not make any hasty moves, but waited another 2 hours before mustering the courage to approach it. Soon, they found Xiaohua lying unconscious in the original spot. As for Xiahou Yuan, he had already vanished without a trace. The two quickly went forward, helped Xiaohua up, and began using their methods to treat his injuries. Not long after, Xiaohua slowly woke up. What happened? Xiaohua felt a splitting headache, as if some gigantic object had been stirring him for days and nights. Yang Bixin and Xin Lang immediately told him everything they knew. I felt like I had become a different person. Xiao Hua steadied his mind and frowned in thought. The three conversed for a while longer. Unlike when they had just emerged from the underground world, Xiao Hua and the others no longer dared mention Xiahou Yuan. Under the vast sky, Lin Yuan pondered deeply. He had just talked with the world consciousness for a bit over half an hour and had barely reached a consensus. The world consciousness promised to allow the martial Tao cultivation system to spread in this world, not directly or indirectly interfering with it. And this also met Lin Yuan's expectations. As long as the world consciousness didn't act against it in secrecy after his departure, Lin Yuan's contingency plan should ensure that the martial Tao cultivation system could be safely passed down for tens of thousands of years. And tens of thousands of years later, it was estimated that by then, a great number of people would have advanced far in the martial Tao cultivation system to ensure its ongoing legacy. Of course, the world consciousness made such a concession, also because Lin Yuan had made a promise. The Eye of the North Sea. Lin Yuan slightly lifted his head, staring into the distance toward the north. Accurately speaking, to the north of the Endless Sea domain. Over 100 years ago, Lin Yuan had felt that there was a black hole emerging there, ceaselessly devouring the primordial chi of this world. And this black hole was what the world consciousness referred to as the Eye of the North Sea. The Eye of the North Sea appeared in this world tens of thousands of years ago, suddenly. Since then, the primordial chi of heaven and earth began to slowly decline, losing the support of primordial chi, and the upper limit of the world gradually fell. The world consciousness also made efforts, and over tens of thousands of years, every time a 10th realm powerhouse was born in the Five Domains mainland, under its guidance they went to the Eye of the North Sea to attempt to seal or suppress it. But the effect was minimal. At best, they could only prevent the Eye of the North Sea from expanding. Yet, every moment, the Eye of the North Sea continued to devour the primordial chi of this world. Lin Yuan also learned from the world consciousness that the place where the strongest gather the most was not the Five Domains mainland. It was in the region of the Eye of the North Sea. For tens of thousands of years, the world consciousness, in an attempt to resolve the Eye of the North Sea, continually hinted at the strong to go there. Generation after generation, these powerhouses gradually settled in the region around the Eye of the North Sea. As a result, the region around the Eye of the North Sea was not lacking in 10th realm powerhouses, and there were even 11th realm powerhouses. The world consciousness must be cultivating those three sons of fortune, hoping to use them to suppress the Eye of the North Sea. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Combined, those three sons of fortune could unleash combat power at the peak of the 11th realm and even the 12th realm. Even in the region of the Eye of the North Sea, they would be considered among the top powerhouses. The Eye of the North Sea. Lin Yuan's eyes turned deep. His promise to the world consciousness was to do his best to repair the Eye of the North Sea but didn't guarantee success. However, even without the conversation with the world consciousness, Lin Yuan would have eventually made a trip to the Eye of the North Sea. After all, allowing the Eye of the North Sea to continue devouring the primordial chi of this world and causing the world's upper limit to decrease was detrimental to Lin Yuan. Cultivation would also be suppressed. Eventually, if it continued, one day this world would be devoured. Then what Tao would Lin Yuan pass on, having painstakingly laid out the martial Tao cultivation system, only for it to be devoured along with the world? Let's go. Let's make a trip to the North Sea. Lin Yuan did not even return to the underground palace but flew directly north. Now, in the Five Domains mainland, stability had been achieved. Even if there were remnants of power rebelling from 100 years ago, they could not affect the overall situation. Nuanshu, Moyang Demon Lord, and others rigorously governed the Five Domains in accordance with the rules set by Lin Yuan, so major issues were unlikely. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, Lin Yuan had left the range of the Five Domains. He arrived above the Endless Sea domain. Chapter 180. The terrifying wind and waves were blowing wildly, making it extremely difficult for ordinary warriors of the 6th and 7th realm to move even an inch. However, all the wind and waves calmed down completely within 100 yards of Lin Yuan. Above the stormy sea, the area near Lin Yuan appeared as though another world had formed. No wonder only those from the 10th realm are summoned by the world consciousness. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Even for warriors of the 9th realm, passing through the sea area would be challenging. North of the endless sea domain, a white tower stood tall. Atop the tower, a chubby man was sitting cross-legged. Only 20 more years, then I can go back and take a good rest. The chubby man sighed. Even a 10th realm powerhouse, sitting here for decades or centuries, would find it tedious in the company of the vast sea. I wonder when the eye of the North Sea will disappear. I've heard that in that direction, there's the 5 domains mainland, far larger and more vast than North Sea Island. The chubby man silently thought to himself. Having been born and lived on North Sea Island, he naturally longed for the so-called 5 domains mainland. It's just that Master Naylan and a few vice-masters don't allow us to leave. The chubby man grimaced. Master Naylan and the vice-masters are the 11th realm powerhouses of North Sea Island and the Endless Sea Domain, ruling high above, commanding many warriors to jointly suppress the eye of the North Sea. Ha! It seems like someone is coming? The chubby man seemed to have noticed something and immediately focused his gaze on a spot to the south. On the vast sea surface, a streak of escape light was approaching fast. Could it be a 10th realm powerhouse from the 5 domains mainland? The chubby man's eyes lit up. He had long known that, every once in a while, 10th realm powerhouses from the 5 domains would come to join the suppression of the eye of the North Sea. However, as time passed, the 10th realm powerhouses coming from the 5 domains seemed to decrease steadily. The most recent one arrived almost 10,000 years ago. I heard that these powerhouses from the 5 domains mainland are initially very arrogant and unbridled. Everything about them just needs a little reminder. The chubby man suddenly thought. The 10th realm powerhouses from the 5 domains mainland were generally invincible existences, extremely proud in nature. Suddenly arriving at North Sea Island, a place filled with strong warriors, they definitely found it hard to adapt. Swoosh! The chubby man flew up immediately, ready to greet the new arrival from the 10th realm and caution the newcomer not to make any mistakes on North Sea Island, especially not to offend those few. The chubby man was thinking. Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today.